I ask myself, is this shit real? I contemplate about how I feel.
Welcome back, YouTube fam.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so I'm Shango.
And I'm Malika. And this is The Marriage Cave. Oh, we still remember that intro.
Yeah, we still got it.
That's what's up. All right, so today we're going to be talking about, how men view sex. I mean, I feel like the biggest disconnect right now between men and women is that, we weren't taught to understand the other person. The men will just say, oh, you're silly, you're emotional, and the women will say, oh, y'all are, dogs or whatever. And so we're going to talk about the different dynamics, the way men view sex versus the way women view it, to see if we could kind of bridge that gap and have a meeting of the minds. So I'm going to go ahead and play a clip from, what is his name? Steven?
I think it's Stefan.
Stefan. Was he Urkel before?
I wonder.
But Stefan speaks. So this was a really good video. So we're going to go ahead and react to what he says, how he says men view sex.
How do men see sex?
I think for the majority of men, sex is just viewed as a pleasurable experience. There may be some emotion a little bit in that moment, but it stays in that moment for the most part. I think when he actually likes the woman, he's in love with her, then it becomes something more than just a physical experience.
Do men have sex with women they don't like?
Hell yeah.
Why? Why, Stefan?
Oh my
why?
God. But not only do men have sex with women they don't like, there are tons of men who have sex with women they're not even attracted to.
That's a major disconnect because women mistake men wanting to sleep with them with men wanting to date them. You cannot count the number of men who have tried to holler at you or try to have sex with you as the number of men who are interested in getting into a relationship with you. And so I think a lot of times women are mistaking one for the other and thinking, well, men are interested in me. I am a catch. And just because men are interested in sleeping with you does not mean that you are necessarily what men are looking for when it comes to a relationship.
I start off and say the pleasurable experience, 100% agree. Men do like that physical feel when dealing that comes from sex. That adds a lot. I can say afterwards he said about a lot of men they'll just whatever it takes to get off. Now I'm not like that. I need quality, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
the quality of
the quality of a woman.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was like,
well, clarify, yeah.
Because I heard some guys don't have a face. I'm like, wait, what? So okay, the quality of the woman.
Quality of the woman.
Yeah.
And so, because that's just me personally. So, but some men that could just, get off with anything, or they don't have no kind of filter, whatever. I mean, I think with women, you really would pay attention to that. That's to me, it would seem like a red flag. To each his own, but that's
it's definitely a red flag. I guess if the guy would just get off with anything, I think there's levels to it. Like some guys are a bit more attractive, but the main thing that I wanted to point out was what she said about how, from our point of view as women, we're looking at it like, oh, okay, well, I have so many options. I have so many men trying to get with me. And a lot of times, you can't tell the difference between the ones that actually want a long-term relationships and the ones that just want sex.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting pickle, because now everybody's going to be honest. And you want to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm not. For the woman, I'd say is, it's maybe cliche, but time. You have to spend time, communication. it can't be right away, because if you get it right away, then obviously you won't know.
I've heard men say that they can wait, just long enough to give the the perception that they're interested. I will say this: I was 23 years old at this is kind of our story, how we came to be. But by the time I was 23, I realized I was not getting the commitment that I wanted, and nobody told me anything. A lot of times, nobody's sitting down and having these conversations with women. Or usually, I think that we should bring that back, because I was raised with my father, but he didn't really talk to me about that. Nobody really talked to us about. Yeah, they didn't talk to us about anything. And I had my dad, but some people didn't even grow up with their dad. So, by the time I was 23, I realized, okay, I'm not getting the commitment that I want. You know what I mean? And so I have to do things different. So I became celibate at that point, and it was almost depressing, the amount of men that I realized would just fall off when they didn't get what they wanted, you know, within a certain period of time. And it was kind of a bummer. It's like, that's why I feel like some women just kind of just reverse and just start hating men. You know what I mean?
That would breed hate if you don't understand why it's happening. And for the guys that'll wait, like, oh, I'm gonna play my cards and hold that 3 months out for the time period, that kind of be rare, because I don't think you can lie that long. Now it's, you know, if you're spending some time with a person, you have to pay attention to things. Like, you know, if you communicate enough, and let's just say you have like 3 months into it, and because the guy is just about this, and you got to find out about him. So what's your history? What you got? You know, you're going deeper into the conversation with someone, knowing the flaw, what's going on with them, like their past, their history, how they dated women, how they go relationships. It's like, well, I just never had a stable relationship, and he's obviously good with women, like he's had it. I never had a stable relationship. He's attractive. I only spent with women like 6 months. If he admits that, not thinking nothing of it, it's like, okay. Pay attention.
And you're right. I mean, everybody calls that like the red flag, and that comes with us being honest with ourselves and in touch with our feminine energy. I heard someone say women play themselves, or we play ourselves, or whatever. A lot of guys are saying that. What they don't understand about women, though, is that a lot of times, you know, what attracts us to a man is not just physical. It's actually mental. Like, the guy has to have a certain type of personality that's attractive. You know, a lot of times, you know, black women, we like, and, you know, charisma, or just a guy that can make us laugh, some, you know, outgoing, just a lot of those qualities. And you really, especially in this generation, it's hard to find a lot of guys that have certain qualities that we would consider that are more masculine. And so, you know, since a lot of guys don't do it for you, since you're really picky as far as personality wise, when you finally meet that guy that actually turns you on, you know, you might have went like 2 years without meeting a guy that was like, man, you know, because he could come there with flowers and candy and be a nice guy, but it's like, it still doesn't mean that you're just attracted to him. A lot of times it's like you want, you know, the butterflies, and it's like a chemical thing that happens in the brain, and it's deeper than just what's on the surface. And so if you're attracted to the guy, then he'll have the red flags, but you'll just kind of be like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? You kind of just kind of just like, whatever. I mean, I'm really actually attracted, and so if I get my feelings hurt, it's like I had fun.
That comes from within, because I'm gonna say that's a personal problem, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, if you recognize that and realize you know it, but you notice it, but it's like, this is going on. I would say this though, there's certain things that, you know, if you're really picking, you know, why if you're picking toxic, the wrong type of men, and you have to, you know, step back and like, I gotta maybe do some self-analysis.
Right.
If that's happening, because I understand being picky, where it's like, look, I'm just not this and this, but it's not from toxic. It's just, oh, you're too nerdy, you're not masculine, you don't got this, you're not this type of money, and it's streamlining. Well, you know, do you have a lot of stuff too? It's just, what can we come meet in the middle? Because there's some men like that. It's like, oh, this woman don't cook, or she's not having this, and like, I need this type of thing going on. I'm like, yeah, bro, you work at, you know, UPS. What? You know what I mean? And I mean, it just, we said it a little bit on the last video with the dating down a little bit, but it's just that middle ground too. Now, I'm not saying settle, but, you know, you do examine your choices, where it's like, there's nothing that has anything that can work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard out here. You know, it's unfortunately, you don't see a lot of black happily married couples, and you know, in our generation especially. And so we're going on 10 years now, and I could say that I had to examine myself. I was two long-term toxic relationships, and the common denominator was me. And so at that point, that's when I stepped back and was like, all right, celibacy number one. I'm going to, you know, connect spiritually. I got baptized twice. Like, that's how much I was like, I need to figure out what's wrong, because I am attracted to a certain type of man that, well, at the time, that was toxic. And I was like, okay, it has to be something within me, because it, you know, it's easier said than done. Like, oh, just get with that good guy. It's just like, well, you got to fix yourself first, because, you know, before you'll be able to even be attracted to the man that treats you well, you know, and try to be mindful of certain things that are would be considered superficial. Like I remember when I met you, I remember like you were really into comic books and stuff when you talked about Dragon Ball Z when you were a kid, and like I laughed. I thought it was so cute. I was like, but like the old me would have been like, oh, okay, nerd, rhyme, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I'm so happy they were sleeping on you, because I'm like, obviously we have 5 kids. I think you're very handsome and attractive.
She's really beautiful, right? You gotta give out.
But you know what I'm saying? So it's like I had to kind of grow up with foolishness or whatever, because this man holds it down. You know what I mean? I'm a stay-at-home mom, and you work really hard for the family and all of that. So somewhat if you like, Dragon Ball Z or comic
That's a good
books.
point. It's like some things you can overlook if it's just like, oh, I'm into Dracula. I like these movies with that and like vampires. Okay, but alright, but what else does he do if he just, you might think, yeah. It's like, it's just as an example. So
I've noticed that a lot of men are saying, we're looking for, more feminine women, and so a lot of women are like, wait, what are y'all talking about? So they had a clip like that. Let's give that a look.
So now we're 30 plus, and the men are like, yo, you too hard. And it's like, this is who I am.
So the first step is, though, stop saying this is who I am. It's not who you are. It's who you have become. You become comfortable in your masculine energy and detached from your femininity. But the reality is that feminine energy is still in you, which is, again, why when you're in a relationship or when you're emotionally vulnerable, it comes out.
Yeah.
Or even better, some of these same women who are so hard, put them around kids and they're joyful, they're sweet or whatever. Put them around a man, they shut the whole thing down. No more feminine energy. So the reality is that it's not that you're not feminine.
Okay.
It's that you don't view the child as a threat.
Right.
All right. You view men as a threat. And because of that, you become defensive around men, but you're not guarded around children. That same energy that you give kids, give that to a man, see what happens. I remember one time I had a client, she was dating this guy. Her son, who was like 22 in college, comes home for the weekend, and she said the whole weekend she's serving him, calling, baby, what you need, boom, boom, boom. The child leaves, go back to school. The boyfriend looks at her and say, why you never talk to me like that? You talk to him with all this great, I don't ever get none of that. And that's when she realized you have it, you just have issues stopping you from giving it to the man.
that's interesting comment.
I got a comment on it. I mean, first of all, in the first clip, he said something about, men will sleep with you, they're not even attracted to you, they don't even see you as, long term or whatever. So you gotta, but then on the same tongue, you say, okay, we want y'all to be feminine. To be feminine is to be very vulnerable. When you're in your feminine energy, you're very vulnerable, you're very receptive, and that's when we fall in love, quite easily. And we can't just, wear our heart on our sleeves either and just fall in love when you sitting there telling us that, okay, we might just want sex. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, it's like
which one comes first, right? What's the double-edged
yeah,
sword?
that's like a double-edged sword. I mean, I'm almost feeling like we got to go back to the times where women, kind of either had like we're more protected.
More protected. It was courting, where the family had to vet them, people vetted them. And it goes to building a society with that, the commonality in terms of like, hey, you can't date this person. We picking this group of people, they've been vetted. Be like, this family, with about. It's, if we went back to that.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be hard. I mean, but because a lot of, like I said, we talked about like just the chronic fatherlessness in our community, and so it's like, well, hopefully maybe get an uncle or something, introduce him to your family and let them spend time with him before you have sex. I mean, of course, we know that there's always going to be risk involved with anything. You start a business, you do anything, there's always going to be risk. At some point, you're going to, because some people say, well, just wait to be married to have sex. And
that's not easy to do with that. We gotta be realistic in modern times.
Unless you're a virgin.
I'm just saying, man, be creative. It's like, all right, what are you looking for? It's like, let's take them around children. Let's do, help out at a soup kitchen. How patient is he willing to do that? It's like, I might need to go volunteer to see where the heart's at.
Oh, okay. So you make him jump through hoops.
Yeah. Yes.
If he just want cat,
some hoops he's not jumping through. It's
okay, so you're right though. No, at the time period, so we some quick steps is all right. So number one, celibacy, and make them wait a time period. A lot of them are not willing to wait that time period.
That's
And
one
I
bet right there.
I personally have success with that because I was like, it was like, you can easily vet them because they'll just stop calling after, they don't want, they don't get what they want. So that was that. Because that was a big part of how we end up coming together. Two is look at
if he makes it past that point where it's like, I'm about to
if he makes it, because some of them saying, most of them don't, but some of them are getting even more, like they're getting more keen to, oh, she's gonna make me wait.
Yeah.
Okay, I got something for her, I'll wait. Then the second one is, we said what? Make them, vet them through family.
You can vet them through family.
Or
So
friends.
I'm a better family and friends. It's like, oh, come hang out with this girls and see how that goes. It's like, all right, well, holding on with that. Because it's like people don't want to answer a lot of questions or be put on the spot if they're not that much involved. They're not opening that up. So that's one of the second things. It's like, all right, family and friends can bit that out. A lot of people don't, with fathers and all that like they used to do. Well, no, but you've got uncles or brothers or cousins. You got somebody in your life that's like, hey, come around with people for a second in this group. You don't have to bring around, all around, but just like people that you hang out with. It's like, hey, let's see what this guy's about if you trust him.
And that's the thing. If he's not willing to do that, then most likely he just wanted the sex. So just make him work for it. It seemed like wait for it, work for it. I think with us, like I explained before, it's not always easy for us to be attracted to a guy, and maybe that could be being too picky. So kind of work on yourself, do some self-reflection, because after the 2 toxic relationships, and I realized that I wasn't getting what I wanted out of a man, I was like, okay, I have to do some healing. I went to therapy. I got some counseling. I'll never forget, after like my second toxic relationship, I had a college professor. I was really close to my professors. I enjoyed college, learned so much besides just the curriculum. But this professor looked at me, and she didn't call me stupid. She didn't call me silly. She didn't say, oh, you shouldn't mess with Pookie and Ray Ray. She looked at me, she said, you're sick. And I will never forget that, because finally somebody had compassion on me. A lot of times we just kick women while we're down. It's just like, oh, she's stupid, she should have known better. And a lot of times we are like, there's something in there. It could be low self-esteem. It could be the way that your parents treated you, or it could be the environment. We mentioned the environment.
Yeah,
I mean,
talking about the environment. That's a big deal.
That's a big. So a lot of times, all these negative things, because like again, it's things you can't see that make you attracted. With men, is more visual. With women, it's like we're attracted to these traits, like these personality traits, a lot of times. And so, but after I talked to her and stuff like that, like I started going to church, and I just got some therapy and just did some healing. And I was single from 20 to 25. I met you when I was 25, and I think that that type of discipline, most women just don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Like I had, girlfriends going on cruises and stuff with their guys, and they're like, oh, you can't come, you don't have a man or whatever. And none of them are married, by the way. That guy went on a cruise with them, they had fun, and because they weren't. You do have to give yourself a time of waiting where you really work on yourself, and most people don't want to do that. If you actually want it's just like, I guess losing weight, because I'm in that process now after having a baby, but it's just like, it's the long term.
Yeah, because the time, some people, immediate gratification is normal for everybody.
Right,
everybody want to have things. In America, we're used to things being done for us. Like, with going to the groceries and different things, it's right here. So who wants to wait 2 or 3 years as long as it may take? And then it's not knowing how long it's going to take. It's just,
you don't know. That's so true. That is so true. It's like, people would just, I guess a lot of people are scared to be single, because it's like, you have to know how to be single and be happy and content with being single in order to actually find your person. Like I said, I was single for 5 years after like not 1 but 2 really toxic relationships, and
didn't expect that. It wasn't like I was looking at.
Yeah, it was hard. It was not easy. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like it's just, you have to have a certain level of discipline. That's all I can say. It's not a popular thing because it's not easy to do, but it'll be worth it long term.
Yes, and we all do. Men too. Everybody needs that discipline because it's better overall. So. And
another thing I think that women do that I think is, quote unquote, not really the best, not smart, is like when men tell us stuff like this, we just be like, y'all are dogs, y'all are nasty. Like we try to make men into women. And at the end of the day, men are not women, and if once they
No
become a
difference.
woman, we don't even like them anymore anyways. Like if he act just like us, then that's the dude we friend zone anyways.
Yeah, you're not gonna like them for
You
that.
know?
It's just navigating around that. You know, understanding what it is, like why people are doing this. If women, you understand why this happens, like, oh, pleasure. It's like you can navigate around that to fit. All right, let me find this guy because it's, you know, it's because women like pleasure from it as well. It's just they may view it differently. It's the same experience, we just view it differently.
Well, if we letting you, most women, you know, if we're letting you that close, then you might have, you know, named your kids already and pictured your wedding and all of this stuff. Now, you know, it just depends on the age too and where she's at, you know, mentally. Because some want to just have fun, and that's different. We're talking about people that's looking for
you seeking out family.
yeah, seeking. But when you're more in your feminine, that's when you get more. You know, you get closer and you know, you fall in love easier when you're in your feminine. It's a different type of energy, and so that is why a lot of women do, you know, resort to the masculine and just for protection. And you know what I'm saying. And so
It's understandable for men because, well, we talk about maybe another video. We talked about it before, but men, you gotta be being a masculine anyway.
Right.
And so, because women are attracted to that, she's more comfortable in the feminine if you're in your masculine. And so
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. That's when he's gonna get more calls and stuff, more calls. But you know, that's when he's gonna get more women, and then it's like y'all all competing for the same man and stuff like that. But I think we was gonna talk about that.
That'll be another video. So but
yeah.
anyway, so this is the Marriage Cape, and I am Shango.
And I'm Malika, and we out.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.